phrase, world, that message is such an important one, a potent and powerful message. World peace is a desire that really is universal. Even the people who profess to want further conflict can be inspired by the hope for world peace. I have a message prepared, which is a composite of several different ideas. I was going to call it the mental blender, the idea of having a blender to turn on under a bunch of ideas for us to digest and feed back among our circles of friends in new ways, trusting that there's very little new under the sun. Philosophically, we are constantly digesting and rehashing and redistributing lots of knowledge. So, this morning I have a challenge for you. You are to take these various ideas, use the ones that are useful, mix the others into your mind, and program yourself to bring those ideas forward when you next need a refreshing experience through your mind. Here is the first of several tools, the first item and tool for us to contemplate, the full moon, and possibly the whole subject area of astrology, which was the antecedent of astronomy. The celestial events in our solar system can be inspiring or informative for any person who is willing to use their will and their imagination. This morning at 4:45, Sunday, May 31st, 2026, we had the full moon, which is the only blue moon of this year, and it is in the sign of Sagittarius. If you are using the energy of the full moon for meditation or contemplation, it is said that the energy is strong from about 5 days before the full moon and for about 5 days after the full moon. Now, speaking for myself, I use various methods of divination, not as predictors of the future, but to indicate subject areas that might be useful for me to contemplate. We want to remember that we are all beings of strong and free will, capable of good judgment when we are centered. So astrology, astronomy can be good tools for appreciating our own inner energy and how the way it is reflected to us back to humanity. So this time I want to play a short improvisation on the guitar, my beloved guitar. I'm going to lower the 6th string now. Here is the second tool for us to contemplate, to use, or to store away for a future moment. The tool or tools will be some quotations from the wisdom of Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. Your beliefs become your thoughts. Your thoughts become your words. Your words become your actions. Your actions become your habits. Your habits become your values. Your values become your destiny. What better progression of thought could we have? In my opinion, this is one of the most concise ways of putting the way we become better people, starting with beliefs and ending up with our values. And in this way, we can have a shorthand plan if we take these ideas into ourselves, into our beings. And there are several others that are very important here. The weak can never forgive. Forgiveness is the attribute of the strong. And here I would editorialize a little bit. Let's remember that the second sentence, forgiveness is the attribute of the strong. Let's remember that even more than we remember that the weak can never forgive. If we remember that first sentence as the powerful one, we're not going to get past the idea of looking for faults. Many years ago, someone gave me the expression, when looking for faults, use a mirror, not a microscope. And that stayed with me all these many years, and I'll carry it for the rest of my times. So let's remember, forgiveness is the attribute of the strong. Another one by Gandhi, civilization is the encouragement of differences. The encouragement of differences. Because when we are aware of differences, we can take them into ourselves and ask questions like, why do the followers of that philosophy have such a strong presence in the society? What are the valuable things about that philosophical point? And how does it affect me when people are expanding ideas and considering those to be the most important ideas? And what is my place? Why do I think those ideas are important? When we ask questions like that, we can conquer negativity. We can superimpose positive thoughts upon anything that is negative. So let's encourage differences. Another quote, the earth provides enough to satisfy every man's needs, but not every man's greed. Now that's an important idea, the idea of greed. When are people being greedy? Is because, or when they're meeting their needs, or because they're taking more than they need? And I offer that just as a question with no intent to elucidate or come to a conclusion. So we want to watch that, because these wars that are happening in the world, in those hot places, the fights are over water. They're over water. There are people who travel miles every day with a few gallons on their heads or their backs, and that is what they're using to survive upon. Washing themselves is a secondary idea. Meeting the needs to satisfy thirst, that's most on their minds. So let's consider those when we're looking at these wars. Another quotation from Gandhi, the only time the poorest of the poor see God is in a slice of bread. That is a very powerful one. We're all looking at God in different ways. And because if God is universal, omnipotent, omniscient, then all possibilities exist at the same time. A machinist sees God in terms of thousandths of an inch, of tensions of cables, the rates of vibrations of parts of buildings. That's the engineer's view of God, or machinist's view of God. An artist sees God in terms of color and line and form. A baker of that bread sees God in yeast. And so many of us have our own opinions of how God works. And those are all valid. They all have equal weight, in my opinion. And one more thing from Gandhi, before I offer you another piece of music, are 7 dangers of human virtue. 7 dangers of human virtue. Wealth without work, pleasure without conscience, knowledge without character, business without ethics, science without humanity, religion without sacrifice, and the last one, politics without principle. And this list is a very handy list here. It's another great shorthand from Gandhi. But we want to remember to take these things in and not use them to point fingers, but rather to refine ourselves. If I do this right, I have to think of what I am doing. I won't have any time to worry about what other people are doing. I'll be too busy picking up after myself in my own house. So that is the last of the quotes from Mohandas Gandhi. And before I offer the music, world peace is achievable. It's going to take the collective wisdom of all people of Earth, the people who are making war and the people who are waging peace. Everybody is needed. It will take a collective effort for everyone. And this subject area is strong in my mind and spirit and body, and I cannot ignore the importance of sharing these sentiments. And these are not new. These are thoughts that people have been crying out for ever since we were writing down any language. These are not new thoughts, but I implore myself and I implore my friends and family to use these thoughts to cultivate more peaceful attitudes. So I'd like to offer another guitar improvisation. And with this, I want to invoke the power of thought, the power of sound. The third tool I offer for contemplation today is a tool within the Sikh religion. And you'll recognize Sikhs, the observers of their religion, as having turbans. They don't cut their hair. They wear a special undergarment. And they wear a steel bracelet, the males. Men wear a steel bracelet on the right wrist. And in history, that was used to parry a blade. However you think about that. And one of their important, they have 5 observances, 5 Ks called khandas. And these 5 khandas are, one of them is defending the truth. And so classically, they would have a weapon for defending the truth. And that takes a lot of commitment. We all know about this. And defending the truth can take several forms. One of the forms, of course, is violence. And this is happening all over the world as we speak. The preferred form is to use our wisdom to challenge ideas. And this is my opinion, by the way. When we hear an idea that we don't agree with, and we feel inside that there is a better way to respond, we can interject an idea. We're people of free will, and we can process ideas in a skillful way. There's nothing wrong with saying this in a conversation. I disagree with that idea. How about this? And then you offer a contribution. Or we can say even more assertively, that is not correct. and I have a source that can prove it. And then speak your mind. Say your idea. The essay Self-Reliance by Ralph Waldo Emerson. Great essay. It's one of my favorite of those I've read. I haven't read all of his essays. But there's a section near the beginning of that essay in which Emerson reinforces the idea of speaking your mind. In my opinion, this is my opinion, if I do not speak up with the right words at the right time, who will speak up for me? Who will speak up for you if you don't offer those thoughts? The obvious answer is no one is going to come forward to speak to you, or speak for you, to speak for you. No one's going to come forward to do that. It's up to you. It's up to me. Don't let anyone speak for you or define you. Speak out for world peace. And I'm going to offer a bit of music now. And I'm going to offer some music on the Native American flute, which is a favorite of some of yours. Well, thank you for having me back. I cannot express my gratitude enough. This concludes my presentation for today. And all of the sources, I can email you at your request. Let me know what you want, and I have my talk in front. I will transmit that upon request. So go in peace, and thank you.